Welcome to the February 24th, 2015 meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Mr. Delaney?
Pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which has been filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board as well as the Township website, and provided to the Suburban Trends newspaper and all those requesting notice and making payment in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for the individuals serving our nation.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
The clerk will please call the roll.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Here.
Mr. Cole? Mr. Phelan?
Here.
Mr. Vanderhoff?
Here.
Mayor Winterfield?
Here. There was a presentation tonight for the Walkables community. I have to apologize. We had to pull it off the agenda. There's some things that still need to be looked at, and well, I guess we'll reschedule that. Do you know Wednesday, or
Well, I'll know more after the meeting.
do you think it'll be forthcoming, or because we have the other presentation?
Well, we've got police promotions next time.
Okay. And when do we have the relay for
I
life?
think that would come much.
Okay. Okay. Okay, yeah. At this time, are there reports or comments from any of the volunteers serving our community? No.
Frank?
Well, I tell
Well.
you what, I'll give
Okay.
what happened last night. Okay, we did have a gathering of over 30 people with regard to
You gotta give your name and...
Ed Engelbart, 64 Hopper Avenue, Hampton Plains. The Historic District Commission had a meeting last night at Senior House whereby we had over 30 people attend from different organizations in town to speak and get their input and brainstorm ideas with a 275th anniversary of the township. And the response was very good. We came up with some ideas, and I really wouldn't go into the details at this time, but the response was good, and we have about 14 people that volunteered to be on a 275th committee. And we'll be meeting next on the 9th of March. Of course, if any of you council people with all your spare time want to attend, you can attend. It'll be at 7 o'clock on the 9th of March.
What day is that?
It's a Monday.
It's on a Monday. The decision was that a Monday seems to be the best time.
It's at the senior house on March.
And it'll be at Senior House. And I just made arrangements that with Senior House, with Parks and Rec, and the building will be open, available on that day. It's 7 o'clock. We decided, the decision was to make it a half hour earlier, and that's what we've done. And so we're looking forward to coming up with specific activities. One of the activities is to try to tie it with North Boulevard School. The idea is perhaps to have a parade starting with North Boulevard, which will be having its 60th anniversary. We're going to see what can be done with regard to Engine Company number 1. There was a representative from Engine Company number 1. And there will probably be a procession down the boulevard, and then eventually they'll go to Hillview School. From Hillview, the view is to have a march of people or procession of people eventually to PV Park and have a town picnic there. And have some prizes and awards for the floats that we're encouraging groups and individuals to bring into the parade. But that is only part of some of the activities that will take place during the course of the year. And at this point, I'll sit down.
Okay. Any other volunteers? No? The next item on the agenda is public comments. This public comment period will be limited for a total of 30 minutes. An additional period of public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized to come to the microphone and provide your name and address for the record. Any public comment? Louise?
Hi, Louise Marchese of 16 Rowan Road. I just wanted to ask you, today Obama vetoed the bill for the Keystone Pipeline coming from Canada that would have wound up like somewhere in Tennessee. Can we assume that it's going to affect the Pilgrim Pipeline in any way?
No, actually they're different pipelines.
Okay, so there's no updates though from, because I know the Assembly and the State House are both talking about the Pilgrim Pipeline. No word yet? What's going on?
They haven't even applied, I don't believe, for the permit yet.
Okay.
So until they do that, I don't think
All
there's
right.
much to do until they really actually apply.
I was going to ask about their status anyway tonight, and then I happened to see this on good old Channel 12 News that always keeps us informed.
And my understanding is they haven't even applied yet. I think they're getting closer, but I don't believe they've applied yet.
Thank you for your update, Kathy.
Okay. Anyone else? Next on the agenda is public hearing. Oh, you
There's a
do?
gentleman jumping up.
Oh, did he jump up?
Waving his arms in the air.
Hiding behind the post oak back there.
Okay.
Dave Stapp, 749 North Pumpton Turnpike in Pumpton Plains. I'm a member of the Pequannock Historical Society. I know that the town has been working on negotiations for the Martin Berry House. I'd like to encourage the town, if possible. I know that negotiations are ongoing, but there's also, I believe, a time limit on the preservation fund. I was wondering if there was a possibility of sending a letter of intent to the preservation fund to reserve funds for the purchase of the house, if that's possible.
That would be an answer by the attorney, wouldn't it?
Yes.
That's above our pay grade.
And I believe,
They're gonna want an application, I think, to do it.
well, I don't know, letter of intent, I think you go in and then you can pull it.
Without answering yes or no, because that's not my purview, yeah, the process with the historic funding is to send a letter of intent, which is non-binding. We did that last year. That can be done this year without obligating the township or anyone else to do that. So that, yes, that can be done. The governing body has not determined to do that yet, and we're going to actually be discussing that in executive session where we are with the negotiations and what the next step are. And just to kind of point out, there are more than one potential source of funding should council decide to move forward with the acquisition. There's historic preservation funding and there's open space funding that might be used. So there's multiple opportunities, and each of them have different timelines. So, you know, applying for one or missing one doesn't necessarily knock out the opportunity to receive funds somewhere else.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, I have a question for the attorney. In closed session, if it's not listed what we have on closed session, are we allowed to go into closed session?
Yes, we have to list it before we go in. We always do. We announce what we're gonna talk about, but it doesn't have to be on the agenda.
Okay. Sorry.
We good? Okay. Anyone else? Once, twice, 3 times? Okay.
Well, you gotta jump faster than that, eh?
The reason why we have individuals here from the Friends of the Martin Berry House is we would like to get a kind of an update where things are going. We know there is a negotiation process, which seems to be, dragging out. The question is it coming from the person that owns the house, or is it in terms of the council's movement?
Well, we'll find out more when we go into executive session. I don't think we can answer that here.
We won't talk about it here.
All I'm just simply saying is that there is some concern on the part of the people who are part of the historic Pequannock Historic Society, which will be their formal title. Right now, we tend to use the term Friends of the Martin Berry House in the hopes that the process will be speeded up a little bit more if that is possible.
I'm sure you can get historic background.
Yeah.
You've sat here through
Yeah.
many of these things, and
You would know
you know how long they
government doesn't work fast. You know that, Ed.
are. You have
But,
all parties involved.
there is a concern that we would like to see the process, hopefully move forward in a more,
If this was a business, Ed, we'd own that house already, but
Yeah,
this is
right.
government, so.
okay. All right,
We're aware of the
but,
deadlines.
We
We
just want
are
to
aware of
make you
them.
aware that the group is still here and they're still interested, and we're hoping that this will proceed in a positive way down the road, and that's it. So thank you very much.
Thank you for coming out. Okay, no more asking. Next on the agenda, public hearing. There are no public hearings scheduled for this evening. Next on the agenda, ordinances for introduction. There are no ordinance for introduction this evening. Next on the agenda, items and resolutions. Mr. Delaney.
Yes, Mayor, the following resolutions. Resolution R 2015-57, appointing Carol J. Marsh as Township Clerk. Resolution 58, authorizing a fee of $25 for each notice of tax sale pursuant to NJSA 54:5-26. Resolution 59, authorizing the reinstatement of special assessment installment payment plan. Resolution 60, confirming the designated memberships in the Pequannock Township Fire Department.
Mr. Delaney, can I stop you right there? Could you give their names, please?
Certainly. Those names are, bear with me one second.
Sorry.
Robert W. Cook as a member of Engine Company Number 1, and Hunter Ziggy.
Ziggy.
Ziggy. Thank you.
Frank,
Engine
no,
Company
that's
Number
it.
2. Resolution 61, appointing Valerie Dolan in the firm, help me with this one too. Visavashia LLP as Township Auditor for a term of 2 years and authorizing a contract for this professional service for the year 2015. Resolution 62, authorizing the Municipal Alliance grant application for the fiscal year 2016. Resolution 63, authorizing the CFO to establish a reserve for preliminary expenses from the Capital Improvement Fund of the General Capital Fund. Resolution 64, authorizing a professional services contract with Tetra Tech Incorporated. Resolution 65, approving the payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the February 20 bill list. And Resolution 66, which was an add-on to the original agenda as distributed, authorizing the amendment of a contract for the purchase of Block 4105, Lot 24, property also known as 42 Greenwood Avenue, from Eileen Greenfield.
Okay. Are there any comments on the resolutions from council?
Yeah, 66, that is the piece of property that we're interested in purchasing, correct?
Yeah, we'd already done a contract. It's a short sale, and negotiating the short sale has been a long and tedious process, and in order to meet the requirements of the mortgage company, they're requesting that we make these changes. It does not change our liability, it just changes the way they're stated in the contract.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to increase the purchase price, but it's all coming from FEMA share because of the way this program works out. So it isn't going to cost us anymore. Okay. But to get the bank to approve it, we have to increase the price.
Short sales are always difficult,
Yeah.
right? We can
Yeah,
ask
they
the
get the wrong
realtor at the end. Right? Melissa?
Right. Do you have anything else, sir?
Nope.
Jay?
No problem, just I would request a separate vote on 57.
Okay.
Okay. Melissa? Do you have anything?
No, I'm glad we're doing the feasibility study for the elevations. I'm just glad to see that on there. And then, well, I guess I don't have to pull this out. I had a comment that I was going to make when we vote. But
Do you have anything to say, Melissa, about the Alliance grant?
I do, if people want some background on that. The Municipal Alliance uses funding that the town gets from the county and whatnot to do certain programs, like, it's all drug-related, alcohol-related, as far as educating the community. So when you looked through the inserts that we had attached with that, basically what happens is you'll see something called the DEDR allocation. That's the funding that the town gets from the county. It comes from like the drug arrests and stuff like that that the town gets. Then there's the in-kind match. That is the support that the Alliance gets for certain write-offs regarding like whether it's custodian fees or facilities that they use at the high school. And then there's the cash match from the town that might go towards programs where the speaker of the event that they bring in might cost more than they have, so some of that funding will go towards that. The one thing that the Alliance did say is they'd like the council to consider, if we have ideas for the community for programs, most of their programs are geared towards students and parents and whatnot, but if we feel like there's a good program that would benefit the entire community, the target towards the seniors, whatever it is that we want to do, anything related to substance abuse of any sort, pass that, give it to me and I'll bring it back to the Alliance if you have ideas. Mary Vinus is the chair of that. And the program, like I said, can be geared towards youth, seniors, or the community as a whole. And it would be great to get the support of not only the council, but the entire community when they have different educational events. I know, the more people that attend the events, the better. Sometimes they'll have an event at the high school and, they'll get the same group of people that come and they'd really like to kind of engage more of the community. So I can tell you that the next event is Wednesday, March 25th. There's it's called a coffee house night at the high school, and it's for adults and teens, but anyone can go to it. So I was encouraged to ask, not just the council, but anybody from the community that wants to go to that, to please go.
And they're going to have like entertainment or a speaker?
I think they're having a speaker at that one. Yeah. So.
Well, it's like how many teenagers want to hang out with their parents?
Right. So, and as I get the programs,
You'll let us know.
I'll relay, and I gave them some ideas to, put the things on Channel 77, put a blurb in the paper. I'm sure they've been doing that all along, but we're going to continue to do that to get exposure.
Anything else, Melissa?
No, I guess that's it for now.
Okay. I have a question, Dave, on 2015-58. That's the one with the charging the $25. Is that something new, or?
It's new to us, but a lot of communities do it, and it is really intended to, offset costs that we incur for going through the process of providing.
Does it create more paperwork than it's worth?
No, we're already doing the paperwork.
And we have to do the paperwork.
But I mean, I mean the $25. Is it worth to add the $25 and then and all that? Is that a whole nother process?
I think a part of it is an incentive. I think part of it is an incentive to not, to be able to limit the number of requests that they have.
Is that by statute? You can only charge 25?
It is. The
That's the
price is the maximum. We don't have to charge it, but we're allowed to.
And we haven't. The tax collector's recommended it. She's actually added it in the last couple of years. Once we put this in place, it'll be part of our annual reorganization, when we set all of our rates, fees, interest rates, and
Does
so
this become part of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a cost that will be collected at the time of tax sale or redemption, really. And it just helps recoup some of our expenses associated with managing the tax sale, because that becomes a very, there already is a complex, and
the interest isn't enough?
we don't get. No.
Lien holder.
Once they turn into liens, the lien holder, if there is interest, because a lot of times the liens are bid down to zero interest, and even go for premium, so there is no interest once it's turned to a lien.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're not creating more paperwork than what you're charging.
No, we're not creating paperwork. Paperwork's there. Now we're just
Adding a fee on top of it.
Yeah, some of our costs.
Okay, and then on 2015-64 with Tetra Tech, we haven't talked about that a lot. Is that reimbursable by FEMA if it does go through?
Yes, once we receive a grant, it is reimbursable through the grant.
Okay. And this is just to see,
Well, the original proposal that I had passed out at the budget session
Right.
a week ago, we were still in discussions on the scope. The scope was to do a mitigation plan for 200 homes and an application for 25. And we had a couple conference calls with Joe and Bob and myself and Tetra Tech. The floodplain is much larger than 200 homes.
Right.
And we want to make sure that we don't miss any of the homes that are most qualified to receive grant funding. So we increased the scope a little bit, and then we broke it down to two pieces. The mitigation plan, which will identify all of those homes and the factors related in terms of SRLs, severe repetitive loss, substantial damage, first floor elevations, all those kinds of things. And rank them and give us a numerical scoring system to determine the homes most deserving of grant application. So if we are only going to do 25, we're choosing those that are ranked the highest.
right, the same as the buyouts, a similar thing.
So that's the first part, is the flood mitigation plan and the ranking process, and then the next part is the application for 2015, which was we discussed previously as a goal. We want to get that done. So we need the first part in order to have a strong application, and then the development of the application is the second part. And if we're successful, which by all rights we should be, because we're going to do our homework, all of the costs will be reimbursed.
Okay. No, I'm in favor because I don't think anything else is happening. If we don't do something locally, we got to take care of our own back door first, because I don't think the flood tunnel's going to come in our lifetime or anything like that. I just want to make sure it's reimbursed if we move forward. Okay, I don't have any other questions. Is there a motion to adopt? I know we want to do the resolutions separately,
Okay,
so we'll do 58.
Right, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2015-57.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Roll call. Sorry.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
I'm just going to say no to resolution 2015-61 and yes to all others.
No. We're doing it.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Oh, too late. Okay.
If this is
I apologize. I forgot we were doing one at a time.
We did a trick thing.
I asked how to do it before. I'm
I
sorry.
tricked you, Melissa, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes to 57.
Mr. Phelan?
Sorry.
Yes to 57.
Mr. Vanderhoff?
No.
Yeah.
Mayor Winterfield?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to make a
Sorry. Go ahead.
motion for approval of resolutions 2015-58 through 2015-66.
I'll second it. Roll call.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
I'll try this again.
Okay.
No. No. All right, now we're doing all of them. No to resolution 2015-61, yes to all others.
Do we need to pull it out in separate? Or
That's
no?
how I was,
Okay.
I was told I could.
I have
That's
it.
right.
Oh, all right.
I
Just want to
asked.
make sure. Okay.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes to all of them.
Mr. Vanderhoff?
Yes.
Mayor Winterfield?
Yes. You got that?
Sorry
We got
for
it,
confusion.
got it done.
Can I make a suggestion? Because
Yes.
in terms of managing
Yeah, how do you do that?
the consent agenda and how I've seen it done in other communities, if any council person has something that they want to speak to specifically, in support of, or, something you want to vote differently than the consent agenda, when you're going through your, you all have an opportunity to speak, just say, I'd like to take out resolution, whatever, 57, and we'll vote, we'll take, there might be 2 or 3 that we vote on separately, and that way you can, vote your way without having to, go through an explanation, or you can just voice your support for it, or your recognition of someone. I've seen that work very effectively, and actually in communities that tend to do 50 and 60 and 70 resolutions, you kind of have to do it that way.
And I apologize, this is the first time I was doing that, and I asked how to do it, and that's the answer I got.
So, yeah, and it's
So
just in
is
terms
it
of managing going
Ernie,
forward.
It was my, I misunderstood.
Who told me, the attorney? We'll speak with him.
The alternative is just not to have any opposing votes, and it makes it much easier.
And we normally
But
don't.
it's nice on the consent agenda, if everyone consents to
Well,
it,
the other thing you can
you
do
don't
is
need
pull it
it.
in advance. You can let things
Right.
know in advance
Yes.
and move it,
Yeah.
you can move it off. the agenda.
Well, since we're a little off topic, I'll just say one thing, and I know things are kind of new here with Carol on board and Jay and all the interim and all that. We will try to get agendas done by Thursday and out by Friday morning at the latest. So we do have time to do all those things that we say we want to do and not have to wait till last minute. Okay. Next on the agenda, items for discussion.
And Mayor, this is just a reminder notice that the ordinance 2015-01 was introduced at our last meeting and is scheduled for a hearing at our next meeting.
Okay, great. Next on the agenda,
Wait.
what?
Does anybody have anything discussion on this?
All right. There's nothing to say, there's nothing been reported, but go ahead, Rich, do you have anything to say?
No. But I think you should let the public know what we're talking
All
about
right.
here.
Well, we did, he really talked.
But they weren't all here.
People here. Nate's here. Nate wasn't here last meeting.
Is it on the table? Oh, okay. Do you have anything to say about?
Nate, we're not gonna increase the garbage fees. There you go.
No, we're not quite sure about the services yet.
That's next.
Yeah, you might have to bring your own to a dump.
No, but it was
You
scheduled
can
to go
say
up
that,
in
though.
2015 and we didn't have to raise
We haven't
it.
decided.
But for this year, we're not increasing the
We
Right.
haven't decided on the services yet.
No, for next year. That was next year. That's a year away, man.
Right, well, people gotta plan their budgets. What, Melissa?
I didn't say anything. That was Bob.
We're confusing everyone else.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else to say? That's out of order? Next on the agenda, reports and notices. Okay, everybody read them? Anybody got anything to say? Does JCPL let you know when they're in town, Dave?
It depends on what
They
they're
just
doing.
kind of roll in town and start cutting trees down? Is that how that goes?
Yeah, I think so.
If it's a long extended program, they normally tell us.
So they don't tell you where they are, so you can kind of go and observe if they're hacking at the trees?
When they've done it in the past, they'll give us a notice about a month in advance indicating the route, you know, the lines that are being trimmed, not when or specifically where, but just in general terms. And we normally turn that over to Shade Tree, and
And the forestry guy from JCL, Bill, has
Yeah.
had conversations with him.
Well, I know they've been better lately. It was like 2-3 years ago.
They
when
seem to
really
be,
did a horrible
when they
job.
are coming in for a major program, he's
Mm-hmm.
giving a heads up and
yeah.
there is conversation, so.
Okay, all right. Managers report?
Okay, the governor made his budget address today and indicated that payments to municipalities under the heading state aid will remain flat for 2015. This was expected and should result in our state aid certification being provided shortly. The township lost 2 members of our municipal family last week. Jim Hofstetter, who in 2 short years became an invaluable member of our staff, bringing energy and enthusiasm to many different aspects of our operation. He will be missed, and our thoughts are with his family. Elwood Harper, who was the first employee of Pequannock Township Parks and Recreation, worked for the township for 35 years and was recognized as Parks Employee of the Year by the state of New Jersey. Dan Silvanti, a former director of Parks and Recreation, has offered to donate a tree to be planted in Elwood's memory.
Oh, that's really nice. Okay. Next item on agenda is council reports. Mr. Cole's not here. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Just one thing, we have an Economic Development Committee meeting tomorrow night at 7:30. I don't have anything else. Aren't you happy?
Council. Ms. Fallon?
No report tonight.
Councilman Vanderhoff?
Just with Company 2, at the last meeting, they voted to abolish their long door-to-door campaign for donations. They're going to be doing a mailing.
Wow.
So this will be a change for them.
Like the other fire companies?
Like first aid and fire.
Okay.
They were eliminated, so that was a long discussion, but they're moving on, so
Okay. Is that it?
that's it.
Okay, just to add to the 275th anniversary meeting that was last night, it was really well attended. And besides the parade that they want to do, they did actually pick dates, so I don't know how they go about doing that date. They picked June 27th with a rain date of June 28th. And I don't know what they have to do ahead of time to shut down that boulevard. Do we have time to do what has to be done?
Yeah, and I did, Denise kind of briefed me today.
Okay.
What went on. Someone within the organization should probably do a festivals permit.
Okay.
Just because, depending on what activities and events, and are they gonna have food and so forth and so on, that'll get traffic involved.
That'll kick all that off.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And one thing, the chamber was there, and we talked about the banner and flags in our budget meetings, and a little bit about that, but they talked about wanting to help with that, with some sponsorship,
Okay.
if that's possible. Did Denise talk about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, with their name on the flag possibly going down the turnpike as you have those flags sometimes? I don't know. I just wanted to add those two items that were, we talked about. They had a lot of ideas and they were very energetic. They're going to be a good group.
For the 250th, what we did was set up a, essentially a program account.
Mm-hmm.
So that donations or whatever they're gonna charge for whatever activities they have are being collected, and then they can choose out.
Another one of those good accounts. Okay.
Well, it brings it within, the proper counting.
All right. And the only other thing I wanted to bring up, because I did see some emails back and forth with Carol and Gail DeGraw about COA monitoring report. And I just want to make sure that it's either done or not done, or that it's on your radar or not on your radar.
Well, it's on our radar.
Okay.
Well, it's on our radar. We are not presently in the COA system. We have not filed for
right.
subsidy certification, and we're not part of that COA system. So we have not filed in the past couple of years for that very reason.
And we're not in any kind of...
No, we don't. It's an optional thing
Okay.
to join.
Okay.
Maybe when they get their act together, we'll join again.
Okay, so Gail knows all this.
Gail does know that.
She knows she doesn't have to do this thing. We don't have to respond, I guess, in any manner.
Well, I think, Gail's position, I think she's occasionally, the way the state words their directive to file, they make it sound as though it's compulsory.
It is not, okay.
So I think that Gail feels a little uneasy in not doing it without direction from some higher authority. And,
Have you given her that, or?
well, we have, and, if council wants, it's been some time since we've had that discussion as a governing body, in terms of whether we
Beneficial.
should or should not, be part of the COA. Now, COA is questionable.
At best.
At best.
Yeah,
We don't
at
know
best.
where it's gonna go. This
Right.
monitoring aspect of it really just involves reporting of things, but unfortunately with that comes continuing obligations to do other things, which are,
So why would we want to be involved? It serves us no purpose.
Yeah. I guess Gail just needs some direction so she doesn't feel, because I see the
Right.
emails going back and
Yes.
forth and not knowing
Yes.
to respond or not respond,
And you probably got it, because this time they said the mayor could respond if nobody else
Oh,
wants to.
okay.
That's how you
All
got it.
right, I was wondering,
That's how you
I got elected to get that, I was like,
In the
well, I
event
was getting
nobody else
uneasy.
wanted to,
And I saw Dave wasn't on
Already got the
there.
mayor.
Yeah, and I was getting uneasy that I wasn't reporting, Okay, so we'll just let it be, but you,
Yes.
please be in communication with
Yes.
Gail.
Then with COA.
continuing to be in communication.
Yeah, so she knows what to do.
So, sure.
Okay. Everybody good? Okay. Next on the agenda is public comment. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized to come to the microphone and provide your name and address for the record.
Don't everybody jump up at once.
Okay. Next on the agenda. Are there any items? Yes, we have items. Okay, I make a motion.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Discuss matters of potential contract negotiations.
Correct.
Discuss matters of potential
Contract negotiations. There you go.
I'll second.
That was yours.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.